So my name is Julie Thomas, and I've actually been in the Grants Pass area on and off since the 70s. So I've been here a really long time, had a great opportunity to kind of grow up here, and we've seen a lot of changes over the years, but it's an amazing, amazing, safe and beautiful community. So I just love it. So my family brought us here from Santa Barbara, actually, because they wanted us to have better schools and a safer life than we actually had down there. And so we moved here in like 1976. And I remember when we drove into town, one of the first things we noticed was everybody is white here. I'd never been in a community that virtually everybody was white here. So that was my first experience. And then the other experience is we had California plates on our vehicle, and I was afraid that somebody might shoot at us. So we all ducked in under the seat of our parents' old station wagon because we were so afraid that we would not be welcome. But we were, and it's ended up being an amazing community for us. So a little history, I left after high school and moved down to Santa Barbara, or back to San Diego, and became a San Diego police officer there. Loved every minute of it, worked a lot of really crazy things that happen in big cities, and I loved every minute of it. But when I started my family, I wanted to raise them in a safer community. I wanted to raise them in more of a small town, and I thought of Grants Pass immediately and said, I want to bring my kids home. And so I called up and found out that there was a position available in the Grants Pass Department of Public Safety, now Grants Pass Police, and I applied for it and got the position. So in 1992, I was able to come back home and be able to raise my kids here. It was really an amazing experience, and it was exactly where we were meant to be, for sure. And originally, I started as a patrol officer in 1992, and that went on for a while. And then I got assigned to the newly formed Community Resource Team. It was the first time the department had ever done that. And the idea was to have a small group of professional police officers with diverse skill sets to work directly with the community, one-on-one, hand-in-hand, to be more preventive, to be more proactive, to really problem solve in the long term some of the issues that we had in our community. And so I loved every minute of that because I felt like instead of chasing radio calls and going to the same places over and over and arresting the same people, I actually got to know the community. We got to work together for a common goal, and then we were able to really come up with sustainable solutions. So 1995 rolls around, and our department started getting an influx of calls, people who were really scared and said, there's this white supremacist group coming into town and they're recruiting our people. We got calls from churches, from schools, from parents, from businesses. And they said, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Well, as police, we generally respond to crimes in progress, right? And to get on the preventive side of something like that, it was a little bit out of the norm. But I was really nervous for our community because I knew that we had a reputation for possibly being a hateful community for anybody who's not like us, the same color skin. I was really afraid that if this group got their feet in, that we may not be able to go back and maybe not recover from that. So I went to our chief of police and I said, Chief, I know crime hasn't been committed right now, but this is big and we need to get on the front end of this thing. With your permission, I'll do it on my own time, but with your permission, I'd like to represent the department in doing that. He said, you go do it. So I was blessed with the opportunity to hook up with community leaders and church leaders and business leaders and parents and just the community at large from all different walks of life. And we came together and we collaborated to come up with a campaign that says, not in our town. We are not going to tolerate hatred. We're not going to tolerate violence. We are not going to tolerate this in our community. And so the culmination of that was that our community got mobilized. We had no resistance whatsoever. The community said, where can we help? What can we do? And so we pulled this whole thing together and everybody had a different role to play. Mine was in safety and security and getting the word out about everything. And it culminated with February where over 1,500 people came for a peaceful rally to the courthouse saying, no. We are not going to tolerate this in our town. We had bumper stickers made. We had flyers made. Virtually every business in town had a flyer, a sign in their window that says, we stand for a hate-free community. Bumpers all over, up and down 6th Street, all over town, say, we stand for a hate-free community. And it was I've never been more proud of our community, and we've done amazing things since, but this really sticks in my mind that we can do anything. If we come together and with that common goal and that common ground of safety and security, and we want it to be inclusive for everybody, and we say no to violence, we say no to bigotry, we say no to hatred, we could do anything. So I was really proud of our community. And the thing that was even more amazing is that rally was canceled. The recruiting efforts stopped immediately, and they were never to be heard from again. I have no idea even where they went, don't care, but they left our community. And I am so grateful because they were specifically targeting the vulnerable. They were targeting everybody, but they were going out into our parks where there were at-risk youth and kids who are maybe not going to school, maybe not have a good home life. They were recruiting in our schools. And, I learned in working with a lot of gangs that everybody is looking for a family, right? And if they don't have the family at home, and they have gang leaders or gang members or organization leaders who bring them under their arms and say, hey, we're there for you. We've got your back. You're going to have a good life with us. Those who are really vulnerable are going to buy that hook, line, and sinker, and it's really hard to get them back. And so I'm so thankful that we told basically the world that this is not who we are, this is who we are. So thank you for allowing me to share that experience with you. Absolutely nothing. And I remained on the community resource team for a very long time. And so we were working very closely with our community partners. And so if there was something that was going to happen, we would be notified. We'd be notified right away. And we didn't have any problems like that. But the other thing that came out of that is that it made us much more aware as a community that we really have to take care of each other. We really have to watch out for each other. We really have to watch out for our kids because this was before all the internet stuff. This is before all the social media stuff. I mean, the mainstream kids didn't have access to that. Now they have access to that. And so it really helped us to be more proactive as a community, to focus more on safety and not vulnerability and not bury our heads in the sand. Back then, it was really hard to get city government or county government or churches or nonprofits to work together because everybody was doing their own thing. A lot of times it's just they were so busy working in their own thing, they didn't think to partner. But after an event like that, I think it was really simple for us to come together and to call. I could go to city council and say, we got an issue, we got to do it together. And they said, bring in the mayor. We brought in the mayor. We said, bring in the city manager and pull people together and say, we're going to get a handle on this. We had recruiters come up from cartel recruiters, human and drug traffickers going up I-5. And this was just probably a year or two later. And we started losing some of our kids. And then there was a stabbing and we couldn't figure out what was going on because it was a hit and run. It's like they'd come and they'd go and they'd come and they'd go. And we all got together as schools, community, churches, young people, the department, and said, no, this can't happen. And we rallied together, and it was amazing. We did a huge community awareness campaign about human trafficking, about drug trafficking, and things for kids to watch for. We had our DARE officers in the schools, and they were able to talk to kids about, no, you don't listen to other people. If it's stranger danger, right, for the little ones, but the older ones, it's like, don't buy into what you hear. And that really reduced significantly. Now, before the rallying, before the community mobilization, I don't know if we would have been able to pull that off that fast, right? And we were able to clean up neighborhoods because we were able to bring neighbors together, and the city would say, okay, we're going to do a whole neighborhood cleanup. You guys are going to do the work. We're going to bring the dumpsters, and the elderly people in the neighborhood, they're going to make everybody food, right? And so then we could clean up a whole neighborhood at a time. So we could tell story after story. So I think that was one of the pivotal moments where we realized we could do more than just be a victim of what goes around us, So just another really great experience.